Now, this next podcast that you're gonna watch is a conversation between me and Gabriell Pieterse. An amazing conversation. We spoke about racing with dirt bikes. We spoke about his fall. We spoke about him relocating to Zambia. It's really amazing. I know that you're gonna enjoy it. Now, do me a favor, like this video right now before you get into the podcast. Like it, subscribe to the channel if you're on YouTube, and just follow the channel if you're on Facebook. Please, guys, and enjoy the show. Cheers.
Running off the rails. Running off the rails.
Gabriel, how you doing, man? Welcome to the Off the Rails podcast, man.
Thanks, Doranda. Great to be here.
Great to have you on the show. Unfortunately, Duvan couldn't join us today. So I think he says he's got a little bit of a bug, so he couldn't join us today. And our light man is flashing us. How are you, man? What's been happening?
Yeah, I've been off for the last 3 months. Bust my shoulder pretty bad.
Yes.
So yeah, just recovering, really.
Yeah, you know, when I met you last time at the academy, we spoke a little bit. That's when you showed interest for being on the podcast. And I have to say, brother, you are quite a matured young man. You know, I haven't dealt with you a lot or interacted with you that much, but those few moments that I've had to interact with you, you're really quite a cool guy. You're matured and you carry yourself very well. How old are you?
19.
19?
Yes.
Okay, I guess that explains it.
Yeah, I think if you get to know me a bit more, you'll realize I'm a bit of like a goofball.
Yeah.
I love having fun. It's like my forte almost. So
yeah.
I do try and be as professional as I can.
Yes.
Although, if you had to ask anyone back at the academy, I'm not the most organized person.
Yeah.
But I try to present myself well to people. I've grown up with it, so.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I remember that you guys went for training, TV training with Mr. Martin Locke and Graham Hawkins. How was that experience? What did they teach you there exactly?
They taught me that the desks are a lie in the studio. All a bunch of green screens.
Yeah.
No, it was good. You know, he sort of criticized everyone on, like, you know, presenting themselves, sort of being confident in how you look also, because, you know, you can slouch a bit. And so he kind of just said, you know, project your voice, look up at people, don't look down and talk, look up, you know. So it was good criticism, very good criticism to take in.
Yeah. So now, was that just for TV stuff or just in general? Whenever, if you're speaking with a trainer and an owner. Yeah.
So I think that's more for in general. Yeah. Although it was behind cameras and all of that. So, but his main point was, even like, if racing isn't for you, you can go into this with a bit of training, like you know, interviewing and podcast lifestyles like this exactly.
Yes.
So yeah, no, it was a nice experience. He's professional. He's brought up some of the best people in South Africa.
Yeah.
So yeah, and he was great with his podcast and interviews himself. So.
Yeah. We've had the likes of Robert Marawa go through him.
Yes.
I was not disappointed or shocked, but when I spoke with Neil Andrews on, and please, guys, the guys that are watching, please just forgive us for the background noise. Today is a race day. It's Sunday, and there's racing action taking place right now. There's punters and patrons right here in the Short Head Bar. So anyway, when I met Neil Andrews on Friday night, I asked him about Martin Locke, and he said that he didn't go through Martin Locke. So I was quite like, okay, interesting. So how was your time off been? Because you experienced an injury and you had to be off. How long have you been off?
Just short of 3 months now.
How's that been for you?
Tough, like really tough. It's also been productive. You know, the first 4 weeks I was in like this major box sling. It had like a cooler box looking thing, but in between my arm. But that's off now, which is great. But I've tried to be as productive as I can. You know, you get into your 5th year, you're trying to ride as many winners as you can, and you don't have time to sort out your life. You know, because once you're at the academy, you got no help, and you know, it's hard to find time. So I guess I've done my driver's license, I've been doing my learners, I've been looking for a car. You know, trying to sort all of that out now so I don't have to do it next year. and I've got the time to do it. So why wait? Why waste time sitting in my bed looking at four walls every morning? So yeah, I've tried to make it as productive as possible, because I think if and sorry to the therapists that might be watching, I would have killed myself if I hadn't been productive. If I had to just wake up, look at four walls, go back to sleep, I wouldn't last. I'm already skating on thin ice. I just want to ride. It's something I love to do. So to be out of it for as long as I am, it is tough.
So the nice thing about that, what I like, is that you were able to do some stuff. So you said you got your driver's license.
Yes.
But you already had your learners before that, right?
No, I was trying to do my learners last year, never found time. So that's why I was like, okay, I've got this time off, let me just get everything in order.
Yes.
And it's worked out. It's working out great.
Have you gotten your driver's license yet or not?
Doing it on Tuesday.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, well done, man! Congratulations. I know you're gonna definitely bring it home.
Yeah.
You obviously need to give the guys cool drink.
20 rand and a Coke.
A pie and a Coke. It's crazy, man. What else did you get done during your time off?
Yeah, so I've spent a lot of time. I go down to stables.
Yes.
Go and watch the other boys ride. I've been going up to track a couple times, and just going to familiarize with the trainers and show face, show interest. I've also I've got a girlfriend now, so I've been spending some time with her when I can.
You're getting a driver's license all in the course of 3 months, bro. You've landed yourself a relationship.
Dude, the last thing I would have thought was a relationship, but no, I'm grateful. It's all really working well. And she's very motivational.
So is she in racing?
Not necessarily. She show jumps and she does dressage. She's that side of the equestrian life.
Okay.
She did do a work riders course, so good for her. Maybe she might join the racing. We don't know. But
how did you meet her? Did you meet her at the work riding course?
Yeah. So actually, the academy's now separated their stables into like a place called the Yard, which is for equestrians.
Yes.
And they brought all their horses from their old stable to the academy, and I sort of met her through there. I've seen her around for like a year, but I was like never never phased. And then one day I was like, hey, can I make you a cup of coffee? And he was like, yeah, you can. It's like, wow, that's a good cup of coffee. So I was like, sweet, I'm in the good books.
Nice.
So
man.
We've been going out for just short of 3 months now, which is cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your, because you said it hasn't been easy. No. Being away from racing and being injured and all of that. Did it take how did you deal with it mentally? Because I know it can be quite mentally challenging to go through that.
Yeah, so I have my bad days. When you see other people riding, you see other people doing well, you think, I could have been in that position. I could have been riding that horse. I could have been doing this. So it does take a toll, definitely. But you know what? I'm thankful that I've kind of prepared these months off with being productive.
Yeah.
Keeping my mind away from it, because you dwell on things, you eventually fall in a hole. So
yes.
Yeah, I've kind of just tried to ignore the fact that I'm injured. It's nice. The first 4 weeks when I was in a sling, it reminded me every day, you're messed. You can't do anything.
Yeah.
Now that I'm out the sling and I'm with rehab and physio, my arm's got a lot more movement and I'm sort of not thinking about the injury. I do think about coming to ride again, but it definitely it hurts your mental state. Like it really does. It's you got to find your coping mechanism.
100%.
And I think my coping mechanism is not sitting around.
Yeah.
I mean, the riding masters at the academy is like, Gabriel, you're going out every day. I said, I'm trying to get my life in order. If I'm going to sit at the academy every day, do nothing, she says, I'll be back before gym or be back for your rehab. I said, I'll be back for that, but I need to get stuff in order.
Exactly.
So it's like, the more busy I am, the more
better.
I keep myself active, the better.
Yeah,
so
and it also helps with your rehabilitation. You know what I mean? With you getting back because rehab is not just physical. There's also mental rehab. So
Yes.
so it also, like you're just saying now, that's how you've been able to keep your mind, occupied and
Yes.
and not stressed out about the fall.
Yeah.
Because even right now, just talking to you, I can feel that you're not I think maybe we should put a pillow on that door, because it's banging. There it is, right here. Take it.
Yeah.
So as I was saying, brother, I can feel you that you've did you ever like feel depressed from it?
Yeah, so I won't say depressed. I've had bad days.
Yeah.
Where, watching people ride especially, you're like it gets you down, because you want to be in that position.
Yeah.
You want to be racing up on that screen over there,
Yeah.
And there are bad days, but they've been very few actually. I'm usually very open about it,
Yeah.
and on my bad days I'll talk to someone, But when I have my bad days, I sort of just like.
So what exactly happened when you fell, bro? How was that whole experience? You said you don't mind us off air. I asked you if you could, because I don't wanna lie, I am quite interested to find out what panned out in the race. How because I'm sure it all happened slowly during the race. I'm sure you could literally feel each and every second of you going down and the mistake that you made and all of that. It's quite interesting for a person outside of the saddle, seeing like that jockey cam who did it, Rachel,
Yes.
and just being in the race with the jockeys. It's very fascinating. How was that experience? What really happened? Just walk us through it.
Yeah, so in December, I didn't actually fall in December. This is like December and before December.
Yes.
But I'll explain that. So in December, I was in a race and I went to change my stick to my right arm, and I went to give it a shot, and I missed the horse, and it caused my arm to. So you see, if you had to throw, like, I don't know how to explain it, but like your arm gets to like that point, and then your shoulder stops it, and that point is usually where the horse's bum is, right? I missed, and it went completely around. So my arm didn't have time to adjust, and my shoulder popped out in the race. And there's actually footage, I think it was on the 27th of December, where my arm literally, you see it pop out and start dangling in the race. And then the doc came to me. I said, I need a doctor, like, right now.
Did you finish the race?
Oh, no, I didn't ride the rest of the race, but I finished it. And then...
So you didn't fall off the horse though?
No, so I didn't fall off. But then...
But you crossed the finish line with one arm
with one arm. But literally with one arm.
And the other one
other
dangling.
arms dangling. It popped in by itself.
So when did it pop in?
When I was trotting back at Turfentine.
So this happened at Turfentine?
Yes.
Not Gabriell?
No. So then the doctor came. I called the doctor, like my arm was like shattered. And doctor came. He said, make sure I'm riding the favourite. So I said, Doc, I need to ride. Like, my arm can move. It's all there. The movement's there.
Yeah.
But it's painful.
Yes.
So the doctor slaps a Voltaren in my bum and then, says, okay, well, I don't know what to say. So I rode the next race. I got beat by like half a length. Kayla's champ for Fani Bronkhorst. And same thing. Went to hit with my right. Popped out again. But then it popped back in and I kept riding and I got beat for... got second.
Yeah.
So,
But then if your arm was good, you probably would have won that race, right?
Yeah, no, I literally had to pause for like 5-6 strides.
Yeah.
So like, you'll literally see my head go down. Like,
Yes.
literally tuck itself down. Like,
Yeah.
that's painful. And
was it painful?
oh yeah, no,
The
it
first
was
time?
burning. First time it was extremely painful because my shoulder was basically sitting over here
Yes.
instead of there. So and then the second time was the same thing, but it popped back in after like 5 strides.
So, but you didn't do that like yourself. It just automatically came back on.
Yeah. So once
Do you have the guts to put it back on? Like pop it back in?
Carl Stradham, I'll tell you about now the recent fall. was very funny. So I handle pain quite well. I don't know if it's my pain threshold or I'm just a bit weird.
Yeah.
But that day it popped back in the race, and then I carried on riding, and I got beat for first. And a shame. After that, I went to the physio the next day. I was staying with Dennis Schwartz. The academy closes over December, so I had to find a roomie in Joburg, and I was staying with Dennis, and I went to go to a physio, and I tried to just get everything sorted out there. Did a whole bunch of massaging, and dude, that stuff hurts. It hurts.
When they're massaging and
and the thing is, the problem is that all these ligaments were torn.
Ooh.
So I don't know how from December to September my arm hasn't dislocated in that time frame
of riding,
So I was a bit confused, in September when they said, no, this isn't a September injury, this is before September.
Sure.
But now this recent fall was I was on some really, really silly horse for Mr. Humby.
Yes.
And it wasn't the horse's fault, but I was getting led to the track.
Well, it's not a silly horse. It's immature.
Yeah.
Is that a better word?
Young, naughty, free thinker.
Yeah.
I was getting led to the track by a groom, and unfortunately she had a tantrum, and the groom jerked her mouth.
Yes.
Properly jerked her mouth, and her first instinct was go straight up, and she turned, and her saddle went from on her back to on her stomach.
Yes.
But then at the same time, I'm looking at the ground, and the ground is really hard, and I don't feel like falling here. And I didn't have any balance, so I was holding onto her neck like this. And dude, she gave one buck, and my shoulder just went like that. And it just...
This is at Ashburton?
This was at Ashburton, yeah. My shoulder was sitting over here, and I fell, and I get back up almost immediately. I stand up, and then I realize, this arm, it's not working. So I immediately lie down, and then, the pain starts setting in. The pain was there, and it felt like a hot burn, almost.
Yeah.
But, went back to the bus, my shoulder's sitting over here, I'm messed, and then Carl comes to me. He's like, dude, let me just watch a 5-minute YouTube tutorial on how to put a shoulder back. And I said, Carl, not the time, too soon, bro, too soon.
Yeah.
So,
did he end up?
No. Eventually, I think the muscle sort of pulled it back to a point, but it wasn't in properly.
Yeah.
And, So
he didn't end up jerking it back on?
Dude, I'm not letting Carl touch my shoulder.
Carl is crazy, bro.
He was like, let me just watch a 5-minute YouTube tutorial and we'll be fine.
Bro, my flatmate dislocated his thumb, right? Let alone his shoulder. Something as small as a thumb. And he was like, can you please pop it back in, T? And I was like, no way.
I'm not touching that.
I was weird. Like, no way. I was scared, bro. I couldn't, man. I couldn't even touch his thumb. Yo. So that's what led to your fall at Hollywood Bates Gravel.
No, so I never actually fell.
You didn't fall, but
no.
What exactly happened?
Yeah, so then after that I was off. That was the time that from then till now I haven't ridden a single horse.
Yes.
So it took about 10 days to go for MRIs.
Yeah.
Or 15 days. It was quite a long waiting time. But from that time, I hadn't really sat on a horse. Went for my MRI, and they do a weird thing where they actually put liquid in your shoulder to see if there's the joints and your muscles and ligaments and whatever is in there, that it can be visible on an MRI. So the first MRI I went for, they didn't put it in, and the doctor was like, can't see anything.
Yeah.
So I got my hopes up. I'm like, cool, nothing's too damaged. Then they put the liquid in and they did an MRI, and he said, yeah, you're going for surgery.
Surgery?
Your shoulder.
So this is after falling at Hollywood Bates Gravel?
No, I never fell at Gravel, at Ashburton.
So this is at Ashburton. Now this is all before.
Yeah,
so
still getting all track work. Not even
still getting to the race one, right?
No, there's no race one. It was all track work.
Didn't you fall at Hollywood Best Gravel?
I did a while ago in March.
Yes.
Um,
Where you went to I was there with my camera. Do you remember?
Yes.
Yes. Wasn't that the one that led you to be off?
I was off for about 3 weeks with that one. I did my knee.
Yes.
Luckily, I didn't tear anything major.
Yes.
But I did my knee pretty bad. That was Justin Snaith's trained Mzanduzi.
Yes.
I ran second in the apprentice race.
Oh yes.
Yeah, and then she just did like a full 180 towards the, you turn back to go into the
pulling
chute.
area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She went up the chute and I was lying on the track. I remember I think one of the appies and I had a screaming match at each other, and I tried to stand up and my leg just failed and I fell back over.
Yo.
Hey man, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So that happened.
Yeah, because I honestly thought, I remember that it was your knee.
There.
I was there. I remember because I was filming with Mr. Roebuck.
Yes.
I was filming that bit with Mr.
Yeah,
Roebuck.
you got me going into the ambulance.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yes.
I remember that.
Yes.
Last thing I saw before the doors closed was Tawanda there with his camera. And I'm like, this isn't my best moment.
So that was I remember that very clearly because I was there. We were actually watching the race with Mr. Roebuck.
Yes.
But thank God it didn't happen during the race.
Yeah, if it happened during the race, I would have been really hurt.
Yeah. So I kept thinking that in my mind, you out of racing for this short while because of that. I'd forgotten completely because it was such a long time ago.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
I forgot that it was the knee. So
Yeah.
the reason you're not racing at the moment is your shoulder,
Yeah.
and it's because of the track.
Yes.
Okay, I get it now.
Yeah,
I
so
get it.
the doctor explained that there was a lot of damage after my surgery. He obviously had to that up what was inside there and put screws in my shoulder to hold everything back.
Yeah.
But he sort of briefed me that there was a lot of trauma in the shoulder, and he reckons that it was even before December. And I mean, I haven't really had falls where I've been ow, my shoulder. But you know what? I used to do motocross and
With the bike.
with the bikes. And
Do you have one?
I brought this. This is memorabilia.
Can you show the guys? What is
Yeah,
that?
So this is I represented Zambia quite a few times. So I represented Zambia quite a few times.
Yeah.
In motocross, and I mean motocross you fall
A bunch.
just all the time, even more than horses.
Yes.
And I'm actually gonna put it on. 'cause
Put
I'm
it
being
on.
chilly in here.
Put it on,
And,
man. Before you do, can I just have a look at it?
Yeah, sure. And then it's got all the sponsors and the Zambian flag.
Bro, it's heavy.
Yeah, no,
I'll tell you that.
that is a winter coat. That.
This is nice, brother. It's nice, man. Oh,
Yeah.
bro. Can I have it?
I already gave one to Kyle. I had two, so I'm already down one.
There you go, brother. It's beautiful, man.
But yeah, so he reckons that I've had so much trauma in the shoulder
Mm.
that it could even be from that. And I mean, even in motocross, I've never had an injury where I was ouch, my shoulders. Because I mean, it's usually my head.
Yes.
I've had some pretty fantastic concussions in motocross. Ones where I'm waking up in an ambulance and that's my dad over there. I didn't even know who he was 10 minutes ago. Really bad concussions.
You serious?
Oh yeah. And no, I've had some really wicked falls in motocross.
Bro, so how did you get into that? That's something that I never knew about you, man.
Yeah, so
So do you have a bike at the moment? Do you have one that's at home?
no, yeah, I've got one at home. Well, it's my dad's,
Yes.
but my bikes all got sold.
Because you
I started at the academy. The academy doesn't really approve of motorbikes.
Yes, but it's cool how you went from one extreme sport to another extreme sport.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it has a little bit of now you're literally on a living motorbike that breathes and has muscles and trains and you can sort of
I guess
connect
it's-
to
I guess it's really just a change of horsepower.
exactly.
So, it's quite funny. I use that line in an interview.
Yes.
I think Deez did an interview with me
Mm.
in the winning box.
Yeah.
And I use that line, change your horsepower.
Yes.
And he completely missed it. So I felt I stood there laughing by myself. I was like,
It
oh
went-
man, he didn't get
He
it.
didn't get
I feel like a chop now. It's like, So
it. Went right over his head.
yeah, straight over. And yeah, so yeah, it's horses are definitely a bit more interesting than motorbikes. Motocross is fun.
Yeah.
Like it's a cool sport. I mean, when I'm out of my time and the academy doesn't have to disapprove or approve motorbikes, I can get one. I'll probably go back to riding.
Yes.
If you're racing 3 times a week, you got 4 days to yourself. Something like that. But I'll probably get a bike just to ride around for fun. And
So when did you get into? How did you get into motocross?
dude, my family is like a bunch of petrol heads.
How many siblings do you have, by the way?
I've got one sister.
Okay.
Her name's Jade.
Yes.
But that's it. Yeah.
That's it. So it's
Yeah.
just you and her, and your sort of, from your mother's
Yeah.
kids, right?
Yeah.
And then you were telling me how you got. Sorry, before you just carry on, can you do me a favor? Just leave that door open. Just leave it open. Listen to that.
Yeah.
Quack.
It's like
Irritating,
that
isn't it?
hydraulic thing. Just
Yeah.
snaps.
It's crazy. Anyway, so how did you get into it? I've asked you this
So-
3 times, Gabriel, and you haven't answered me.
Yeah.
Come on.
So
Gabriel.
my family are like a bunch of petrol heads.
Yes.
So I was kind of born into it. My dad rode motorbikes. My dad did rally. My grandfather was huge into car racing. He
Yes.
was a driver himself. He raced Formula Ford and Formula, all of these.
Are you serious?
Yeah. No, there's some old photos somewhere.
Wow. Do you think we can get some and put them on the podcast?
Yeah, probably actually. Yeah, I can try and send them to you.
Mm-hmm.
And so like my dad's side has always been engines all the way forward. So my mom had aspirations of me being a ballerina.
What?
Oh yeah.
A
She
ballerina?
got gymnastics in grade 1. She was like, oh look, he can do the splits. And then my dad was like,
Nope.
nah, we're gonna get him a motorbike. So
I'm not having a son wearing a what do they call it?
a ballerina. Like, I don't know what the male version is.
Yeah.
But I mean, my dad didn't want me being Sir Prancelot, so
Sir Prancelot.
yeah. So it was like a quick dad wants me about cool, get on a motorbike. First day on a motorbike, straight up a tree. Bike lands on top of me.
How old are you?
I think I was 5.
5.
Well, I mean, I'd ridden motorbikes before that, but I got my first bike when I was 5.
Yeah.
And first day, I said, Dad, I know how to ride. Straight up the tree, the biggest tree in the garden, aimed at it.
5 years old, smashed it the first ride into a tree.
Straight up the tree. The tree had like a curvature going like that, so the front tires just went up the tree and the bike just came down on top of me. And
But you didn't get hurt or anything.
nah, I just said I'm not riding bikes ever again. Took me 2 weeks. I was like, okay, I'll ride a bike.
Yeah.
Second day, I made it around the garden. I whacked that front gate. Bah!
Oh man.
So then I was like, this isn't working for me. And then it took me like 2 months to like really get to know my bike, and then I did my first race.
But that was like a little small bike for
Oh
kids.
yeah, a little 50cc, little baby bike,
Yeah.
little Honda.
Yeah.
And so then I did my first race. I came 4th. But I
Fourth?
mean, yeah,
Out of a
4th.
field of?
Like 20 kids.
Wow.
Oh yeah, no, I was quite surprised with myself. But then,
But had you been practicing?
yeah, I'd obviously been riding.
Your
Pretty
dad
much,
teaching you and
Yeah, dad
training
teaching
you.
me, and I had a trainer, Yanni Stander. Bless his soul, he got killed a couple of years ago.
Oh.
But I mean, yeah, I came 4th, but now the podium I'm 5 years old, right? I see this podium and there's the first 3 and they'll get the spotlight.
Yes.
And then I'm there and I'm like, I didn't get up there.
Yeah.
So I started having a tantrum, but little did I know,
At 5 years old.
At 5 years old, I had done the biggest jump on a 50cc at the track, Syringa track,
Yeah.
ever.
Where's that? Where's Syringa?
It's in Joburg.
It's in
up
Joburg.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I lived there for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I did the biggest jump on a 50cc ever. So they actually got a picture framed of me jumping this huge jump right there and then. So I didn't get on the podium, so I'm having a fit. So they give me this huge picture frame with me like 2 meters in the air on a small bike at 5 years old. And yeah, I got to stand on the podium by myself and I held my picture, but you
With
can
a-
see like my face is
So
I didn't get a trophy. But then after that, I never missed a podium in South Africa, and then I moved to Zambia.
yes.
So yeah, no, it's
So you're quite a good rider. You're quite a
yeah.
good
When
biker.
I started, and I mean, I was on a Honda 50, which is like the slowest 50s in the world.
Yes.
You know, you get KTM, which is another brand, and KTM, they make the race bikes.
Yes.
So everyone else was on race bikes, and I was on this Honda 50.
Yes.
And
But you're doing very
and
well.
I never really won a race because, you know, the KTM's got much more power.
Yes.
But I always like ran second or third.
Yes.
So I never actually missed a.
But that was relatively good
yeah, no, it's very good.
considering your what the machines that you had.
Yeah.
So if you had a KTM,
Nah, I'd probably be kicking. Whoopsie.
So-
I'm gonna have to cut that out.
and then now I don't know anything about bikes. I know that there's there's Yamaha, there's Ducati,
Oh yeah.
there's
that's going
KTM.
roadside.
So what's the difference? Does Yamaha make so you get GP, right? MotoGP.
Yeah,
which is
so
like
MotoGP is like very different to what I was doing.
You were doing
I
moto?
was doing the dirt.
the dirt.
motocross,
Oh,
yeah.
motocross. Yes.
So yeah, so Yamaha, they are like top of the range with MotoGP.
Yeah.
You got your brands like Honda.
Yes.
You got KTM, Brad Binder, South African.
KTM. Yeah.
He's on KTM.
Red Bull sponsored.
Yes.
Yes.
And yeah, you got Ducati. They're more the MotoGP side.
Yes.
But yeah, it's those dudes have got like
Serious power.
yeah. and
They're going through corners at like 200 kilometers
oh
an
yeah,
hour.
those dudes are crazy.
It's crazy.
Like, I mean, I'd love to feel what a superbike could do around the track. Maybe Kyle Army in Joburg or something, or
yeah.
Doozy or Desi, and
yeah.
you know, I'd love to feel that experience someday.
Yeah.
But yeah, those dudes are cooked. I don't know how.
it's mental, bruh. It's mental how they. You see how they go through corners,
Yeah.
and they're at like I think 50 degrees or something, even more. Do you know what I mean? And
yeah.
they're just literally inches away from touching that tar with their knees,
Oh, yeah. No.
bro.
Luckily, they got knee pads to like touch the tar.
Yeah,
So, yeah, good
it's
for
mental,
them.
bro. I don't know how they do it, bro.
But yeah, motocross is like just as dangerous because I mean, when I had like that concussion I was talking about,
yes,
I went flying through the air,
yeah,
and I mean I was maybe 4 or 5 meters up in the air,
yeah.
coming crashing down, and you know you're going from 60, 70 k's an hour to a standstill. It's like getting hit by a car.
So what happened? What did you like smash into a?
Yeah. So what happened was I hit a container and I sort of knocked myself out, but I'd actually got concussed earlier in the race. Me and my mate Davin Cocker, you know, like you have like jockeys, we're friends off the course, but on the course it's every man for themselves.
Yes.
So me and him were racing for this big race, and there was this one jump where you had to go on the outside corner of the corner to make it, so you got extra time.
Yes.
But now me and him were like head and head, you know, neck and neck, and I took the inside and he took the outside. So I thought I was clever, I can make it through the inside line, and I couldn't make it. And the jump wasn't like your standard like that. It was like 2 mounds. So I went off this one and landed head first into this one.
Oh yes.
So I smacked that, and I
Instead
got
of
concussed
landing on like
on that downside.
on the downside.
Yeah, so I did that. And funny enough, Davin's dad was like right at that jump,
Yeah.
and I'm like concussed already. So he gets there and he says, "Hey, are you okay?" I said, "Yeah, I want to ride. Let me get up." So I got up, rode my bike, but like every 2 seconds I was hitting my head. I don't know why I was doing that. It was quite weird actually.
But you're not riding as well
No,
as you.
I
as
was
you're
trying to
supposed
push myself, but at the same time I'm dizzy and I'm seeing 2 2-unders instead of 1.
Yes. Yo.
So eventually it all came down to me veering off the side of a jump and just dead still, and it was a big jump as well. So I mean I knocked out, woke up in the ambulance, confused as ever.
And
Dad's there like, "You okay?"
And you've got
Where are you?
morphine.
Yeah, I didn't even have morphine. I was just, this is in Zambia. Zambia's medical standards are like really not up to par with South Africa.
Yeah.
So I think they maybe gave me painkillers or something.
Sure.
But I was unconscious for most of that, and Yeah.
Bro, was that like the craziest fall or?
Yeah, so
Or
off
crash?
a motorbike, I would say that was probably like the most damaging one. I've actually never broken a bone during motocross.
Yes.
Well,
How old were you when that happened?
I must have been like 12 or 13.
What?
Yeah, no.
Bro, I'm thinking maybe it happened when you were like 14, 15 at least.
No, I was quite young there. I think that was 2015 or 2016.
Yo.
But yeah, no. So I really like hurt myself properly there.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've had gnarly crashes, like crashes where you should have broken something,
But you didn't.
but you got away with it.
Yes.
It's like it's every time you don't break something in motocross, especially those big falls.
Mm.
It's how did you get away with that?
Mm.
Because I mean, some people can fall over at a standstill and break a femur. Some people can fall over, collarbones are gone.
Mm.
So the fact that I've had some like really bad crashes and like not a bone is like decided to like go.
Mm.
It's a blessing.
Yeah, I think it is. And also, I think you're a very strong person. I think
I think my bones have blessed me.
Yes, you. Because it's definitely is evident that you are a strong person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not a softie or anything like
No.
that. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
And then that goes back, like all these major falls. I think is also like the cause of this puppy being out for a while. So.
Yeah.
I think all of that, as much as I didn't like say ouch my shoulder,
Mm.
I think all of those have like built up to this.
Yes.
So,
Wow, man.
but yeah,
It's fascinating. It's fascinating how just hearing that all of these stories about you. And you said you moved to Zambia from Joburg, right?
Yes.
What happened there? Why did you move? What age were you?
So I think I was maybe 7, turning 8.
Yes.
I think this was in 2010.
Yeah.
So I think in 2008, I think South Africa went through like that really bad patch.
Yeah.
and
2008.
8.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's when like we started like really like hitting rock bottom.
Yeah. The whole world was going through a depression.
And I mean, like our neighbors where we were, they got murdered, and it was like, oof. And then our other neighbors on the other side of us, they got hit. Like they got tied up and beaten. And so
which
we
area was this? What area were you living in?
This was Four ways, which is like.
But that's a Lonnie area.
Yeah, but it's also a big crime area.
Mm.
And then we moved to somewhere where we thought was safer, and it wasn't. Then my dad is Zambian, born, bred, went to school here in SA, but I mean, for the most part, all of his friends Zambian, born there, lived there. And my dad got this offer from one of his closest mates to actually, you want a job here. And he sort of left it in 2008, South Africa, went up there, started working. And then 2010, my dad was like, it's getting bad there.
Why
Why
over.
don't you come over? And the move was like, my mom was like,
Was she
Okay.
with it?
She was. I think for the most part she was. South Africa's not a safe place.
Yeah.
We all know this.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
facts are there.
It's sad.
And Zambia is this beautiful country with lovely, humble people.
How are the people there?
Oh, lovely, hey. Like, really, they're not the people that will try and
Steal your phone or anything like that. Yeah.
Instead of road rage, you get I'm sorry, as you see someone in the driver's seat, there's no like someone trying to take you out on the road.
No taxis driving nonsensically.
No, not at all. It's a lovely country. It's safe.
Yeah.
For the most part, I think the people there have been brought up well.
Yeah, it's like Zimbabwe, I guess.
Yeah, Zim is nice. The Zim people are nice, but there's also a lot of Zim people that aren't.
Yeah. Especially now since they're going through, because everybody's scrambling. And listen, some people are taking what's not even theirs. They trying other means of making money, which and some of them are not legal.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, so Zim is a beautiful country. I think it's really, really gone south for them. I mean, I've spent a lot of time in Zim with races, driving through Zimbabwe.
So you spent time there doing which type of racing?
Motocross. We used to go to a place called Donnybrook. And Donnybrook
I know Donnybrook.
Yeah.
That's in
Harare.
Harare. I think it's close to Barrowdale, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, very close to Barrowdale.
Yes.
Yeah, so I did a lot of racing in Donnybrook. I went there quite a number of times. And yeah, I mean, when we stayed there, we were staying with friends, and we stayed in like this lovely little lodge the one time. And it's lovely, but obviously when people can't afford to stay at places, it gets run down.
Yeah.
You know,
That's another thing that I mentioned when I was there. I mean, that I noticed when I was there, Gabriel, is that Harare is such a beautiful city.
Oh,
I think it's one of the
amazing.
most beautiful cities in the whole of Africa. Definitely in the top 5.
Yeah.
It's Joburg is not as beautiful as Harare.
No,
The
Joburg's-
buildings, bro.
No, Harare is beautiful. It's just
It's just that now, obviously, you got buildings that are deteriorating and depreciating in
absolutely.
value, like in many ways. You know, not just monetary value, but physical value. You know what I mean? Like they just looking, they're just not looking nice, and you got people. Some of them are not even occupied at the fullest capacity. You know.
Yeah.
And it's sad seeing that happen. But when I was there, I was in awe of how beautiful that city is.
Yeah.
I was really in awe. The architecture, the buildings, bro.
Oh no, it's lovely.
In its prime, I'm sure it was really beautiful. I would have really wanted to see Harare in its prime.
Me too. You know, it's sad to see a country fall like that. It really is. But you know what? Every country goes through their darkest times.
Yeah, hopefully we're not going to go through that. But anyway, so you then went to stay in Zambia, and how was that move from staying in South Africa, different country, different friends, different neighbor, different school? How was all of that?
Yeah, so Zambia, everyone knows everyone. It's like really everything's a small world, and it's very easy making friends there.
Yes.
Obviously, when you're in a big mainstream school in South Africa, you know, you have these bullies and you have these people that, you know, they're the cool group. Yeah. Zambia's more like
everyone.
We all mates.
We all mates.
Yeah.
So which school did you go to here in Joburg?
So I went to Bryanston Primary, and then I moved to Bryandale. And Bryandale, I had a few friends, couple friends, but I mean, I was only like 7, so can't say I had this best friend, lifelong best friend. But and then I moved to Zambia. I went to a school called Baobab. Baobab was lovely. It was just big. I made friends quickly. I have a lot of friends still to this day.
That are in Zambia and some are in South Africa?
Some are in South Africa, some are in UK.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so nice thing about Zambian schools is they all work off British curriculum.
Yeah, it's just like Zimbabwe.
Yeah, just like Zim.
Yes.
And the nice thing with that is European schools, it's easier to get into a European school with a Cambridge certificate.
Yes.
You know? So a lot of friends have moved over to UK. Some are in New York doing acting, and you know, it's a lovely country where, you know, you don't have to worry about your doors being locked at night because someone's going to come and, you know, break in, steal your TV, steal your couch, and take your car with it. And then it's just also the people are just lovely. I don't think you actually find that type of person in South Africa. Probably do somewhere. But you got to do some searching to find someone that can match Zambian's energy.
Yeah.
Because I mean, also, like, you know, South Africa, you have mainstream things to do. You can go to a water park. You can go to a skate park. You can you know,
go to a dirt track. Like there's a lot of them, right?
Yeah, there's
paintball,
15 plus, 20 plus dirt tracks. There's go-kart tracks. There's Zambia. There's nothing. So when you want to have a party or you want to do something fun, you got to do an adventure. Like, you make an adventure, which is I think also what makes you close with your friends. Like, you can go to a water park with your mates. You can go to Ushaka. Great to see fish and, you know, go down a water slide. But in Zambia, you go to the lake.
Yes.
You go and find a cliff that's never been touched by someone.
Yes.
And you go and do jumping off the cliffs and backflips, and it's really cool. It's very different, you know. If you want to go to, let's say, like a nightclub, you don't get nightclubs in Zambia. That's just not a thing.
Yes.
So, like, there'll always be these parties hosted by people, like house
at their
parties.
houses, right?
Yeah. And very different vibe. Just very different vibe.
Ah, it's cool, man. That's really fascinating. It's really fascinating. I'd love to go to Zambia. Like this morning, I was watching a lot of YouTube. About I was watching the Land Rover Defenders and Land Cruisers.
Oh, yeah.
And Land Rover Discovery 2s You know, just watching them all kitted out with all this camping gear, with petrol tanks
Yeah.
and shovels and, you know, big wheels, and watching them go through obstacles and stuff like that. Australian modifications and South African. I was just going through that. I was watching that for like hours in the morning. And even speaking about Zambia now, I'm just picturing that. You know, as you're saying that there's not a lot of stuff to do there, but I'm just now imagining driving there in you know, in this nice terrain. That's cool for like 4x4 and off-roading and all of that. So one thing that happened with me, Gabriel, when I moved from a small town to a big city was because I moved from Escort while I was still in high school.
Oh yeah.
I moved to Durban to stay with my dad. I was 16. And I spent my 17th and 18th birthday with my father, right? Matriculated here and everything.
Yeah.
But the switch from different city, you know, different town to the city, different school, different people. Durban's quite a larger place than Escort. I got a little depressed after that. It really messed up my mental state.
Yeah.
Because it was crazy. You know, it was crazy. In school, we'd hear a lot study about this stuff. People, how, you know those kids that were always moving houses.
Yes.
And moving schools, and there was something about them that was not really normal. I had a friend, his name was Daniel, and he moved a lot in Escort, from different area to different area, different schools. He literally went to each and every school in Escort, and Escort is quite a small place, and he was a bit weird. You know, he wasn't like normal per se. Do you know what I mean?
No, I get
and
that.
I do think that moving for kids, especially moving from different towns or schools can really affect your mind state. I really I really got affected. Did you ever experience something like that when you moved to Zambia?
So the one thing about moving to Zambia was, you know, a lot of my family's there. It wasn't like I was making this big move and we were the only fish in the sea. You know, we were these, you know, the school of fish, and the rest were all new people.
Yes.
So having a lot of family and I guess also having neighbors like within a complex, it helped me adjust better, I guess I could say that.
Yeah.
And then also again is like I don't think when I was 7 I had close friends.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't have those friends where I was like, this is going to be my friend for life.
Yeah.
So I don't think I was missing a lot. And I mean, in South Africa, you know, our neighbors, when I say like they got killed, you know, you're used to seeing those people every day, then they're dead. And I don't think as a 7-year-old you want to know that. And I think I've only reconnected with one of my friends from primary school, and they actually reached out like after like 14 years, 13 years. They were like, hey, you probably don't remember me, but I'm this person. And I was like, no ways. Like, I've known you since I was like a little toddler, and 13 years later I get an Insta DM saying, you remember me?
Yeah.
So I think that's like literally the only experience where I've really seen like a proper friend from that age. So moving to Zambia wasn't as hard. I guess when you're 16, like you, it's a bit tougher because, you know, you got people that you love in Escort.
Yes.
You know, people that you've obviously grown up with, been around, gone to parties with, had fun with, you know.
Yeah.
And that'll probably hurt you a lot more because you're leaving those people behind.
Yeah.
Obviously, you probably still talk to them, but
it's not the same.
That's not the same, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think that was probably what also made my move a lot easier. Was just not having someone I was attached to, you know, emotionally.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got it. So now let's talk about racing. How did you transition from being a dirt biker to a jockey? How did that whole move happen? Like, what happened?
Okay, so my last year of racing motorbikes, which is the year before I came to the academy.
Which year was this?
This was 2017.
Okay.
So I was racing competitively. I went to Botswana for this exact race. This is like the biggest race in Africa for motorbike.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah.
And you came?
I think I came 10th in the main race
Uh-huh.
or 11th, but then I won the Southern African Championship.
Are you serious?
Which is all the countries like from
Zimbabwe, Uganda,
and
Tanzania,
under, like Namibia, Congo,
Angola.
Oh yeah, Tanzania. I won that championship.
What bike were you riding?
I was running a Kawasaki 85 at
nice.
the time, and so that year I was doing homeschooling
Yes.
because I was really taking my biking seriously.
Where do you think you'd be if you didn't actually go into racing?
To be honest, probably nowhere.
What?
Oh yeah.
Are you serious?
Being realistic.
Because bro, like you were doing so well. You were winning
yeah.
championships and stuff.
Let me tell you this. So the best in Africa are the worst anywhere else in the world.
Ah.
And I'm not gonna say it from like we don't have the capability, but it's also like, you know, in South Africa they've got maybe 15 tracks,
Yes.
10 tracks. Zambia we've got like 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Zimbabwe you've got 2,
Yeah.
well 1 now.
Yes.
Botswana you got maybe 2 tracks in the
Uh-huh.
whole of Botswana. Congo you've got maybe 1. Uganda you've got 2 that are lovely tracks because the Ugandan kids, they come from like a lot of wealth, so they've been overseas and they've been in America racing in America, so they've adapted their track to an American track. But you go to America and there's like 60 tracks in each state. So like the exposure and all of that is so much bigger in America than in South Africa or anywhere in Africa.
Yes.
So, and the competition, I mean, South Africa you've probably got 200, 300, 400 riders in motocross, and that's like that's actually a long shot, maybe even less.
Even less, right?
And in America you've got 100,000.
Shoo.
You know, you go to a miniature race meeting, which is like a private meeting,
Yeah.
and it's full. It's almost 1,000 people riding.
Yeah.
Africa, you've got international, you got your national races,
And it's only a couple of
and
hundred.
it's maybe a couple of hundred at most. And I mean, in each state in America, it's so much bigger. So Africa is like really bottom of the barrel.
Yeah. So you don't think you would have
Yeah.
made a career out of riding?
Yeah. Also, I don't think financially it would have worked out, because even if I went to America and did training camps,
Yeah.
my parents would not be able to afford that. Like
Yes.
that is like something
It's expensive.
insanely expensive. So, I mean, yeah, it's just a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah.
But being a motocross rider in South Africa is more of like a hobby
Yeah.
than a career.
Yeah.
But that wasn't really the thing that like changed me over.
Yeah.
I was doing homeschool,
Uh-huh.
and I had a tutor. Unfortunately, I won't really like go into depth with it because I don't want to expose her.
Yeah.
But she was horrible. Like,
What?
as a human,
Uh-huh.
human being, horrible.
Horrible teacher and a horrible human being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure she was nice to her friends.
Yeah.
But as a tutor, terrible.
Yeah.
I was doing homeschooling for the fact that I could ride more in the week. I had more flexible days and I could do what I wanted. Finish when I finish, and she was just horrible, and we never got along. It was never like, "Hello, ma'am." It was more like, "Hi," you know.
Did you end up passing at least?
So, funny enough, I did. I was actually doing grade 10,
Uh-huh.
and then she kicked me out. Well, I don't know.
How did she kick you out of your own home?
No, exactly. It's like, you're done. And I was like, my house, get out. No,
Did you really say that?
no. I did have like quite a bad moment with her, which ended everything.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, she didn't make up her own story about what happened, and she told my mom this, and my mom was like ready to slap her because she told her exactly what I told my mom. Because you know, when you tell your mom, I just got kicked out of school, your mom's first instinct is to blame you because what did you do?
What did you do exactly?
Then the tutor went and didn't even make up her own story. He told it exactly how it was, and my mom was like ready with, Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, like this we're gonna get thrown.
Yeah.
Like, you really did this to my child. Like, how could you?
Yeah.
You know, of course he's gonna lose his, marbles.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, and then I got kicked out of homeschool.
But what did you do? If you don't mind sharing, like if you do mind, then don't share it. Because you're not going to mention any names.
It was more from a religious point of view.
Yes.
She was very much like, minor things that happened. Like if Koki's got left open. And I mean, it wasn't like I was her only student.
Yeah.
She had little kids from Korea that were learning English.
Yes.
So they had colouring in books.
Yes.
5 years old, 6 years old.
Yes.
They were using the Koki's.
Yes.
You don't find a grade 9 student using Koki's.
Yes.
So she blamed me for that, and she did a whole bunch of stuff. But I mean, from a religious point of view, you don't come out and say things like the Lord will have mercy on. I hope the Lord has mercy on you.
Yes.
You don't say that. No, especially not to like a 13-year-old or a 14-year-old.
Yeah.
It's not something that you're starting to develop as a human, and now you're hearing all of this. And it got to a point where I was like, listen, this isn't for me. I can't handle you bringing God into every situation. It's not something I want to talk about. It's not something I want to throw around.
Yeah.
And she was doing that. So it got to that point where I was like, I'm out. And then she was like, oh, you're out, I'm kicking you out. And I was like,
my house. Yeah.
So, I got to that point, and it was just too much for me to handle at that time. I've never been someone that liked school in any case, so the fact that I was doing it was a miracle. And it was just that was where it was coming from. It was more like a religious, like, don't bring religion into something that it shouldn't be brought in, especially that, like, how can you say you're a terrible sinner?
Yes.
Everyone sins.
Exactly,
it's
but
something.
Now, if you're telling that to a 13-year-old child, then it makes them feel
different effect.
as if God is, they should be banished from the society of human beings. You know what I mean?
She was bringing that kind of stuff in, and it was just, I don't want to do that.
Yeah. So then
my mom was actually more worried about schooling. My mom has always thought, do what you want in life,
but go to school,
get a matric.
Yes.
Like, you are not going to go anywhere without a matric, which nowadays I don't believe, because I think anyone can do anything if they put their mind to it.
I believe that too,
regardless of how old you are, what schooling reputation you have. Because I mean, some people aren't cut out for school.
Yeah.
But my mom was adamant, you're getting your school done, we'll find something. And then it took 2-3 days, and this happened all in September. And I mean, it took 2-3 days where I was with my mom, and some lady brought in art photos of horse racing. And she looks at me, and she can see that I'm not 12 years old. She can see I'm like 14, and I'm like
short
down there. Yeah. And she says, wow, you could be a jockey. And then, I mean, a whole bunch of people had mentioned it to me, because it's it's a funny thing to say.
Yes. And
then my grandfather kind of said the Christmas before, like, he owned racehorses, and he was like, yeah, you must become a jockey. You are like
the perfect size,
perfect fit. So we never thought about it at that time. But then in September, my mom looked into it, because we just had like this big coincidence, right time, phoned the academy. And I mean, applications for the academy closed in like May, April, somewhere there. That had already closed for their intake. And my mom phoned them and said, listen, I've got a kid here who is so small. He's 15, he weighs 35 kilos. He is like the definition of a midget. And my mom is, we'll get to this, my mom is terrible. Like, she really is. Like, she gets bad at times. And it got to this point where my mom phoned the academy, and she was like, got this kid, can we join? And the academy was like, how far away are you?
Joburg. Zambia.
Different country.
Bruh.
So, and all in this time frame, there were flight specials, like 1,500 rand.
Yes.
To Zambia to Durban. And it was 3,000 rand round trip. That is insanely cheap. So like, all of this happened at one time. got to the academy. I think we phoned them on Monday. On Thursday, we were at the academy.
Which one? Oh, this one here at the
in Durban.
Summerfield. Yeah.
And I did a whole bunch of testing. Did some online interviews with other riding masters around the country, Mr. Curtis, Mr. Moore, all of them. And it was. It took them about a month, and then they said it actually took them long. Like only in December we found out Gabe's coming to the academy. And they just said okay, cool. And I mean, in that time period of applying to the academy and getting accepted, I had been sponsored like a brand new year ahead motorbike, and I was bummed. I was so bummed because
you had just won the championship, right?
I just won a Southern African Championship. I had to move up to 125, which is the next class from 85s. So we were looking for a sponsor,
and you just got one.
And then I got sponsored, but like a whole bike,
bro.
And it wasn't like I was in 2017 and I got the 2017 bike. I was in 2017 and I got the 2018 bike.
Wow.
And it was, wow, all of this happened, and then we got accepted to the academy.
So now you had to make tough decisions.
I was like, 15-year-old trying to make life decisions. And I mean, like 2 days before joining the academy, I was like, I don't know if I want to do this. What? And my dad was, and my mom were like,
you are doing this.
Dude, you are not backing out now. And I mean, from the first day in the academy, I won't say necessarily the academy, but the horses side, I've just loved it. I used to ride horses. I used to play polo cross.
So you used to play polo cross before going to the academy? Yeah. In Zambia?
Yeah, all of my mates play polo cross. So, and I used to ride once a week with someone when I was in South Africa. It was very basic, but I mean...
so you had a little bit of exposure.
I had some horse experience and some nice experience with horses. Did a bit of jumping. But... so once I was with the horses, I still love motorbikes. Wearing the jacket.
When was the last time you rode a bike?
I think 2019.
Yeah.
Over Christmas time. My mom was like, you are not riding a motorbike. If you fall, if you do anything, you are... It's like, okay. Rode a motorbike. I went to the track with my mates. We rode, messed around a bit, had some fun. Nothing serious. But that was like the last time I actually sat on a bike. And
running